Okay, we'll continue on with driver press conferences. We're joined here in the Infield Media Center by driver the number 99 Affleck Ford, currently number 6 in points, Carl Edwards. Carl, welcome home.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. The car is very fast too, so having fun so far, and we've got 2 races this weekend, so 2 opportunities to get a trophy here at Kansas, and it's just good to be here. Good to be here racing, and good to be on the streak that we're on. We're running really well and gaining points, and that's what it's about.
We'll go ahead and open it up to questions from the media. Again, as a courtesy, state your name and affiliation. We'll start here with Amanda and come up front.
Hi, Amanda Troutman with MRN Radio. You just spoke about gaining points. You're 73 out of the lead right now. A few more tracks left, obviously, in the chase. Is there anything that you're looking forward to heading out to that is going to kind of benefit you?
Yeah, we've got 7 races left. Is that correct? Right. There's this one. We've run 2. No, wait, we run 2, so we have 8 left. How many races have we run? 2, right? Right. So it's only beginning. I mean, it feels like it's been 6 or 8 races. A lot. Those races go very slowly. There's so much happening there, but I feel like we're just getting into the tracks that we have a chance to really run well at. Kansas, California, Texas, Homestead. I'm excited about all these mile and a halves. Charlotte, I'm a little iffy about, and then Martinsville and Talladega are going to be. Anything can happen at those places. But what we need to do is we need to capitalize on these tracks that we've run well at, and the chase is I think stacked in our favor. So hopefully we can capitalize.
Dave Briggs with the Columbia Tribune. How different does it feel coming to Kansas this year? I know this race means a lot to you. Last year you said all the right things, but you had the crutches and your car wasn't running where you guys would like. How much different does it feel a year later?
I feel that last year we were just barely hanging on. Last year we weren't performing as well as we wanted to be. This year, I feel that the last few months we've really hit our stride, and it feels a lot better. So. The proof is in the finish, so we need to go out and do well. I mean, I woke up in my bed at my house this morning and drove to the racetrack. That's pretty neat. I don't get to do that at any other Cup track, so that's really special. And I've already seen a couple people I haven't seen in a while, and it just feels good. It's a good place for me to come race.
Additional questions for Carl?
Hey, Carl, Scott
How's it
Trailer,
going?
Sports Radio 10WHB, RacingBoys.com. Carl, last week, one driver calling out another driver, and I'm not going to go into that particular situation, but is there some kind of driver etiquette or unwritten rule that you don't throw another team under the bus? You guys could talk about each other about after a race, what happened out on the track, kind of talk about that, but is there some kind of unwritten rule or etiquette that you say, you know what, you just don't talk about another team cheating?
I don't think so. I don't think there's any rules, but I think just it's whatever works for you, I guess. I know the way I try to conduct my business and do my things is it's always better for me to just focus on what's going on with my car or my team, and if there's something you can't avoid, then go ahead and address it. But I don't think there's any rules, I think there's a lot of posturing, with the media and in the garage, and I think the best thing is just to sit back and be entertained by it. It just doesn't seem to benefit you to engage it,
Anything further? Yeah, we'll have a follow. No, we got one next to you as well.
I want to also ask you, Carl, the new motor, obviously, it's making great power.
Yeah.
But I heard Greg Biffle talking about the back half of the car. You guys need to make some improvements on that car, and it seems like that came about the same time as the motor.
Right.
Which one has benefited you most, the motor or the back end, the redesign of the back half of the car?
I think the engine's something that, we talk a lot about cars and we engineer things and we do all this stuff, but, that engine is, when you're racing, you can't beat some horsepower. It helps you all the time in qualifying practice, getting on and off the pit road, all those things. Having a strong engine's good. So I think the engine's been a huge part, and it's been something that I think even myself I've kind of overlooked as something. It doesn't. When I think of the things that have made us faster, I don't think of that engine, but man, it feels good to step on that pedal and have that thing go. Yeah, handling down the straightaway is very important, yeah.
Hey, Carl.
I noticed yours always ran really well at I-70.
Randy Johansson, final turn here in Kansas City. Jeff Burton mentioned this morning the racing's been really good so far. And I know a couple weeks ago at one time, the top 10 was 9 of the Chase drivers.
Right.
I feel like the margin for error has really narrowed this year.
Yeah, it has. I mean, when we're racing, you know, if you look at the top 5 or top 10, there seems to be a lot of those chasers running up there. And I think that what's going to happen is we're going to slowly see guys, you know, weed themselves out of that top group. You know, they're going to make mistakes or have trouble. And the key is to run well enough to stay up there with them, but not make those mistakes. You know, I mean, we're 2 races in, and like I said earlier, it feels like we've raced a lot. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of hard racing. There's no telling what the points are going to look like in 7 or 8 races, but. You know, if you make mistakes, you know, for instance, me racing with Denny for, I think, 3rd at New Hampshire, and I slipped up and, you know, spun Denny out and cost both of us a chance at the win. That you can't make those mistakes, and it's so hard to balance how hard to drive because of how well everybody's running. You know, when you're running 10th and you see 7 other guys in the chase in front of you, I mean, that's demoralizing, you know. I mean, those guys are fast.
Carl, Nick Ripp with KMC Channel 9, Kansas City. You talked about a lot of the good things it is about coming home, sleeping close to the track, et cetera, et cetera. Are there extra pressures, per se, as well as trying to perform for those fans?
There is a little extra pressure, and it's not really pressure. It's more of just a little more desire, you know, sometimes. I think you guys saw that a couple years ago racing with Jimmy. I mean, driving in there and, you know, using the fence and all that stuff. I mean, I'd never really thought of that as a reasonable thing to do before that, you know, that moment. But it's just the idea of being able to win here. You know, for drivers that race around this area on the local dirt tracks and stuff. I mean, this place is very, very special, and you know, win here would be huge.
Real quick follow-up from an economic standpoint, the current state that we're in. Does it kind of surprise you at all? Do you ever just kind of sit back and take a look and think, wow, all these fans, continuously like that, and fan support you'll see here this weekend?
Right, I'm very grateful for the fans that we have, and I mean, all of us have felt the economy is tougher than it's been in a while, and all of us have felt that. But it felt good to me. I standing in Richmond, you know, the last race before the chase, we're standing there on September 11th, and the stands were packed. We had F-22s flying over, and the fireworks going off, and the national anthem being sung, and that gave me chills, you know, that as tough as things are, we've got a sport that is delivering a good product to the fans, and a lot of fans are still enjoying it. And I think that's good, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Rusty, raise your hand, Rusty. There you go.
Rusty Ball with NASCAR Media Group. You briefly mentioned a couple of good tracks coming ahead. Wanted to ask you to preview California for me. Typically a good Roush Fenway track, kind of a sister look to Michigan. Just your thoughts going into California.
California's fun. You know, it's so different out there, so it's always interesting to go there. We've got a bunch of stuff going on around the racing. But to race on that racetrack takes the whole team, you know, just like Michigan does. You got to have huge horsepower. The aero package has got to be good. And then the other thing about it drives like a big dirt track. You know, you can run at the bottom of the racetrack, or you can run 80 feet or however far it is up around the top. And on a 2-mile racetrack, that's a pretty big deal, you know, to drive down the corner and slide it to the top of the racetrack. And it's a finesse track, it's a fast racetrack, and it changes a lot throughout the race. So I really enjoy it. You know, people have knocked it for maybe getting strung out, but I mean, it's 2 miles long. You know, 43 cars doesn't look that like that. You know, they don't look that grouped together, spread out around 2-mile racetrack. But for the drivers, at least for me, it's always been really fun to drive. So I look forward to it.
Carl, the chase is obviously so much about consistency, and you've been so good over the past few months, but obviously 2 years ago showed us how much winning really means to you. I know you've been asked this before, but I mean, how badly are you jonesing for that next win?
Yeah, I really, really want to win a race. But I've kind of, you know, winning races is that's why we all started racing, to go drive fast and, you know, have the trophy. And I mean, that's the fun part. But I've won a bunch of races, and